toe out of it, maybe?
Yeah. There's a lot more than just 1 foot in there, I feel. Maybe the knee of the other leg is also like over the line.
Okay,
yeah, they're doing pretty good here. So let's see how it looks. We are going to get CFO over on the red side this time around.
Okay. See what adjustments they can make. Keep up the Callista ban. No change there. Not quite yet. Honestly, like, especially with all these bans stacking up in Fearless, I mean, I really think CFO need to have a super high priority on drafting some winning lanes. And Rest does play a wide variety of champions, so you know, maybe they can get that for him. They are red side. They can do some counter picking here. Meanwhile, the standard bans continue to fall through. Victor's still off the board.
Yeah, the round 1 Victor ban is a little bit surprising. I know that's been banned out by Casey earlier in the series, but it was one of those round 2 bans instead. The Callista Renata, the entirety of the duo being banned out here nice and early by CFO.
All right, see what else we can chop down on.
You're really into the chomp.
I said chop this time around, but yeah.
Oh, I thought you said chomp, like take a bite out of it.
Yeah, I was totally running with that one for the Gragas theme last time, but then it just got like way too many.
Okay, so we're done with the chomp.
It went way too hard on the Gragas.
All right, we stomped the chomp.
Yeah,
that's gone.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Well,
this one,
gonna stay
okay.
gone too.
Keeping all the bands here, all the same ones. So maybe some Ivern then, because the thing that we started the day talking about was how critical for junglers, you know, the Skarner, Sejuani, Maokai, Ivern had been. Yike just had an amazing performance on Pantheon as well, which was not on the list, but was even more effective than the aforementioned take lineup / support jungle lineup. So maybe we get a visit towards the Ivern style composition. Honestly though, Casey, I think they could just continue with a quicker moving comp here, more aggressive than that, as they already showed in the last game. And it's Slam, Kana, and Bessa.
Yup, this has been banned away from him in both of the previous games.
Will Rest get his Cassante then?
Yeah, maybe that's just what we do. We just go Ambessa Cassante. But I also feel like if you're CFO, you know that if they already have Ambessa, they aren't going to take Cassante, so it would be better just to grab it on 3.
Yeah, and like we're saying, you need winning lanes and counter picks and stuff. So you want to do like even something like a Renekton into the Ambassador and like try and win lane early and try and, you know, snowball something, get something going for yourself in the game. You know, Camille or something else has been used too, as far as a bit later.
Well, might be some kind of an issue there with the client. Hopefully that's something that we can resolve pretty rapidly, because I delays in situations like this where the series feels so intense are always the worst, because I'm like, no, I want to see what they pick next.
Yeah. Maybe some just more calm moments here for CFO. Take advantage of every moment you can get.
Deep breaths.
Meditation, deep breaths, fully reset, block it out.
Yup. Just chilling.
This Champ Select music doesn't really help me block it out.
No, this isn't particularly relaxing.
No, it's not super.
Not in there with the.
It's not calming me down. Calls.
No, it's not calming me down.
Not a good battle call for you.
But I wonder if we're going to get anything super crazy from CFO, or if it's just going to be comfort.
Yeah.
What would you rather have?
Super crazy every day of the week.
Okay.
You know me.
Well, no, I know you, and I know you only play Volibear.
Yeah.
That's not super crazy. That's comfort.
Right now, it might be super crazy.
Okay, I guess. Okay, all right.
Also, by the way, Volibear stomps on Ambessa. So, if we want a counter pick,
that's a good matchup.
I actually do want to see a Volibear. You know what?
Okay, all right, fine.
I do.
All right,
and it would be good.
All right, Rest, slam the Volibear.
And it would play with my biting theme that we've had for this series.
Wait, does he still bite people? I thought that was his old W.
He does. The new W bites too.
I thought that's a slash mark. It has like a claw mark on them.
Bro, that's the Q.
No, the Q, he like runs at him and stomps and smacks him on the head.
Yeah, with his claws.
Yeah, but the W, it puts like a claw mark on them.
Dude, look at the animation. It's
No,
his head goes forward.
What?
It's a bite for sure.
Okay, hold on. I'm looking this up. Volley bear lol wiki.
Yeah, let me see. I'm gonna look it up too. So
All right, let's figure out.
I don't trust you to report this correctly.
Volley
So
bear bite people. Or, it's
Did you-
frenzied maul. Look, it's his claw. It's the icon. It's a claw. He slashes them. Thundering smash. He smacks him over the head.
you can maul with your teeth, bruh.
No, bro, this is a claw. That is a claw, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bare fingers. That is a claw.
Yeah, they did draw a claw.
Yeah, they drew a claw. That's what I'm saying.
They
He's
draw a
clawing people. Why would they draw a claw if he chomps people?
You kind of shattered my whole world right now.
Like,
What?
You played like 400 games with this character.
Dude, I'm biting. When I play it, I'm biting people.
Okay, so we got...
This man tells me Volleybear doesn't bite anyone?
That's what...
That's crazy. I don't even, like, what am I even doing anymore?
Not biting.
I'm literally going to have an existential crisis right now.
Over Volleybear not biting? Well, okay, I'm having an existential crisis because we got Nidalee.
Okay.
I feel like when your life is on the line in the tournament and you first pick Nidalee, you better have nothing but the utmost faith and the utmost setup in every single lane to make this pick work.
Yep, they're definitely going to need Kai Wing with some CC here. And those support picks were getting a little thin.
Yeah.
With our Fearless racking up. But they already got the Ashe here for bottom lane. So into the Jhin. Let's see. There it is, the Renekton.
Okay.
There I said. Okay.
All right, I like that.
So the Renekton does win early versus Ambessa, but not so much later.
Okay.
So you need to make use of it, but they're doing exactly what we were asking for. CFO are trying to change everything here. Get an aggressive Nidalee jungle, get some winning lanes to work with, and get a hawk shot for that Nidalee to invade with. This is actually, they're doing everything that we asked for, Flowers.
Okay.
So this honestly, those first 3 picks, even though people might have personal biases against those champions individually, that is winning lanes. It is set up for a Nidalee. You know, it's point and click Renekton stun into Nidalee Spears, one of the oldest duos in the book. And it is a hawk shot to help the Nidalee go for invades.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You've sold me on it.
Yeah.
I'm believing in the first 3 here. Over on the other side, though, Ambessa and Vi, champions that have been banned out in both previous champ selects, going to be locked in for KC alongside that Jhin, which we saw banned, I believe, in game number 1, but not 2. Second half of the bans have come through now. It's Poppy and Braum banned out by KC. They do not want to allow Poppy to easily deny all the mobility of Ambessa and Vi. The Braum also just protecting against this powerful dive duo. They'll get that out of the picture. Meanwhile, over on CFO's side, they don't want Rakan diving in there next to those 2 that I already mentioned, and Ahri keeping that away from that notorious Vi combo too.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the most obvious counter dive, anti-dive things have already been taken off the board, counting the bans, counting the Fearless as well, but you can go a bit deeper into some other random stuff, you know, like Swains and stuff like that. But we already got our Tristana lock in here for the AD mid lane. A lot of AD here, so
yeah.
It just puts more pressure on the Nidalee to have success there. And you know, Nidalee is very much a lot of single target damage too, as far as your AP threat. So no mega tank on KC though. It's just going to be Vi tank since they lock the Pike here for themselves, and they are also full AD.
Yeah, we got the Pike Jhin bot lane duo for KC. Now, what are we going to get as the mid laner that rounds this all out? Because these guys are strictly physical damage right now.
Gonna have to splash some AP here for Vladdy. Some sort of regular mage, I would assume. They do have a lot of dive on their team. There you go.
Okay, there it is.
Regular mage.
That fits the bill.
Long range as well, and the ability to group up AoE. Very, very long range.
Now, there's some good pick potential, I feel like, here on KC, but there's no big, like, AoE engage or anything like that. Like, yeah, Vi or Ambessa can grab one target.
Yeah.
Feels good. But after that, there's not a whole lot left there. So I wonder, are we going to get any big engage mechanisms on the other side here from this last pick? Because Okay, we got the Thresh.
I like it because the Lantern can be a very useful tool. You know, you're highlighting the pick possibility on the side of KC. So some defensive moves here for the side of CFO with the Lantern. Also, you know, you can do like trailing side lane plays there very effectively with the Thresh Ashe combination. Lots of CC in the lane. All right, CFO, this has got to be it. They gotta pull out all the stops. They did in draft change it up, like we were looking for. Some proactive, very clear ways to play. Very aggressive top side here with your Renekton counter into the Ambessa, with your Nidalee that you want to get those invades off against a Vi. You have the extra vision of a Hawk Shot, which is just every jungler's dream to do it with. And now that they have picked these tools, it is time to execute in game.
Do you think it's enough to win them this draft, or would you still give the edge to KC?
I mean, to win them this actual game, I would have to say if the gameplay that I have seen, I would still go with KC. But
just for the draft.
I do like what they have gone for, just because they haven't been able to do anything without super forward-facing proactive stuff.
Okay.
And like, if I'm going to ask for some, you know, winning lane and proactive, you know, jungle pick to go for invades, then this is exactly it.
Okay, they understood the assignment. Yeah. Good. That's the first step, and now we just got to make sure that they can pass the test. Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. It might be the last game of this series if KC gets their way, or we might just get ourselves the deepest fearless battle of the tournament yet if CFO can bounce back here.
It'd be kind of funny too, since in North America our only best of 5 fearless was also only 3 games.
Was a 3, yeah. That was. Yeah.
All right.
If this only goes 3,
back to our invades though. Let's go back to the invades here.
Okay.
CFO setting up the deep vision. Nidalee, they want to have full information here so he can get invading early. This champion is so good at even doing solo invades, and since they this time around do have this super strong Renekton lane on top side, they do have some very good lanes for themselves to work with. They want to start out with deep wards. Then you can kind of use the Hawk Shot as a crutch for later. Here's going to be face check.
Yeah, Targamas just walks right into it. Wants to fire off the bone skewer that he started with. He's going to die. That's first blood over to Doggo at 1 minute and 30 seconds into the game.
Like I said, draft diff. Genius. Gets some proactive stuff, Flowers. You get start earlier than this.
Yeah.
Okay, so Targamas walked in, face check, goes bone skewer, and CFO immediately happy to get that first blood. Let's see what they can do with the 2v1 versus Kalist. Can they get anything else out of him? Not currently. A little bit of damage as the wave is going forward, though. And yeah, a bit of damage.
Yeah, nicely done there. Just trading him down to 250 HP. Now both AD carries just about the same health as Targamas finally returns to lane.
All right, now, Flowers, we've got to lock in. This is tremendous stuff for CFO's possibility of remaining.
Oh, nice grab on the Kalist there as well.
Of remaining proactive and completely changing what this series can look like. They've got the Nidalee now with 3 pushing lanes, deep vision that is fully scouted Yike, and they can fully track him. So I want to see some very, very aggressive stuff from the Oysters this time around.
That's what they need. That's what they've got so far down there in the bottom half. Maybe a little bit too much aggressive stuff on the other side as we take another look at how Targamas just walked into the brush of doom.
Yeah, that was on screen the whole time, so you don't need any explanation of how that went down, but the ramifications of what that means for the game plan moving forward, it just exacerbates the issue of what CFO wanted to do and makes it difficult for KC with the early bottom lane lead down there and Ashe getting a bunch of extra money. The bottom lane priority then spills over into other lanes because Kaiwing all of a sudden gets unlocked from bottom lane. He can go mid lane. He can even trail around going up top side if he really wants to. And you get to make more consecutive plays and just lends itself to the snowball here that CFO want to and need to get done in this game. All right, Nidalee's first finally going to meet up with Yike here, right over the wall for Junja. And with his pushing lanes, immediately going to exert control over the Scuttle Crab, grab that one up.
Yep, I want to see how well that they can combo this Renekton and Nidalee as well. You already talked about Renekton wins early against Ambessa, but later on things start to get a little bit dicey, so let's see how well those two can link up early with the spears plus guaranteed Renekton stun combo and really try to just get rest accelerated at the same time. Make sure that everybody's staying on that faster tempo, that when CFO was winning all their games, they were doing it with this quick pace. They were doing it with all this aggressive play. Targamas going in after Honkyu, who jumps back over the wall, flashes away from the follow-up stun potential of the Pike. Oh, nice Vault Breaker flash from Yike! And again, the KC jungler is getting it done.
That was beautiful. Also some redemption for Targamas here. Able to set it up. He burns the flash himself, allows for Yike second wave of the gank to get in, and Yike knows there's no way I'm missing this. You have no flash, you have no rocket jump, so Yike easily invests his flash to get paid as well. And you said it, this guy, Yike has gone from liability at the beginning of the tournament to one of the biggest reasons that they're winning these games.
Yeah.
Massive, massive performances from him.
It's such an impressive change. I legitimately thought for the first 2 days of competition that he was having the weakest individual performances of any player at first stand. And then you get to the top esports series and he just completely flips it on its head. And then he's a huge part of why they're able to come back and find that first dent in the armor of HLE, even though they didn't go on to win that entire series. Yeah. And now they're bouncing back so well here against in this revenge match against CFO. It really is just impressive to see how well he's rebounded again and again and again and again and again and again.
Our old League of Legends saying
the old League of Legends saying, if you get hit by that, you got a flash.
The old League of Legends saying, lose is improve. That's what KC did this tournament. They lose and then they improve. All right, there's a control ward on that dragon, but I don't think CFO will care too much about it. They just place their own down as well to keep vision. Now let's see. After that first blood, I thought it was going to be more of a snowball off of bottom lane, you know, and allowing actually Kaiwing to have the bigger effect, but really Targamas made up for it there with his Pike Roam, gaining a lot in the mid lane. It changes how Tristana has to play here with no flash anymore. But rotation up to the grubs is going to happen regardless, as both supports make their support roam timers up to this grub fight.
It will be Vladdy who's on the way faster from mid, as Junja and Yike still ready to fight over these. Junja doing a good job there, lands the spear to secure that next grub. Vladdy, Yike, and Targamas taking their exit now. The last grub being left in the pit as Junja turns his attention over to the Scuttle Crab first to pick that one up. Still has one smite charge left to go. The first two grubs, one to either side. So this should end up being a 2-to-1 grub advantage for CFO.
Yep, Yike got his one with the smite, so don't have to stick around any longer down there.
Here we go, 2-to-1, nicely done. Nobody's on the Drake early on this time around, as both of our AD carries just keep on farming up. There is the slight gold lead for Doggo, but it's just about what you would expect from First Blood with the plus 300, so not a whole lot to write home about there as Kalist continues farming up on this Jhin. Remember, this is the champion that he was playing in that single game win against HLE where he had the 18 kills or whatever, as Doggo is now in a little bit of danger, but the Lantern pulls him back to safety. Oh, beautiful bone skewer from Targamas. He threaded the needle like a magician, but Doggo's still going to get one back. Kalista's in danger. He had to flash to guarantee the kill, and now Kaiwing steps past him to try to get another one back. And there it is, Feat of Warfare claimed with the 2-for-1 in the 2v2 in the bottom lane from CFO.
Woo, they barely get it there. Flash invested from Kalist to go for the kill and get it, and they still get the 2-for-1. Here's another look at how it started out. Doggo sidesteps the Jhin W initially, which was critical, but then Kalist sidesteps the other hook, and the Bone Skewer going right by was nasty indeed, Flowers. Doggo still don't. He hits level 6 off of their first kill, and then is able to use it to delay on Kalist, but Kalist invests the flash to make sure he's at least going to get the one. Still, 2-for-1 for CFO. As you say, getting their feats of warfare here. Flash is down now on the bottom side.
Okay, we also got the first Drake taken while we were in the replay, so that means that it's one Drake for CFO nice and early. Slight grub advantage, but not the full pack. So things are going their way here in the first 8.5 minutes, up about 700 gold. So we're off to a decent start for those who want to see more than 3 games in this series, but they still need to keep this tempo up. They still need to keep finding these plays and finding these angles. Honkyu jumping in after Vladdy here, but with Yike stealing away the enemy chicken camp. Now he's immediately ready to back up his mid laner. Honkyu can't go after anymore.
Got a little hover on bottom side too, but seems like KC were actually a little bit aware of the previous positioning from Junja because they did ping, yellow ping on his position towards bottom side, so they just back off. Nice low communication there. You can see it in action. KC as they back away from the possible plays, and Junja goes over to top side instead now. Now, another one hits.
Nice, follows it up with a deadly flourish, but have to disengage.
So Kana has been doing very well in this matchup up on top side into the Renekton, and only thing he has to be worried about is the Nidalee.
Yep. And
Nidalee is here now.
It might be exactly what's about to happen. The spear lands on top of the stun. Kana with the flash away. Junja for the flash follow, and he takes him down with the execution there at the very end. 4th kill of the game for CFO.
The Renekton and the Nidalee, a combo as old as League of Legends itself.
Yes, sir.
Junja finally getting paid, walking over there at the right time where Kana had gone behind tower. So much needed there for CFO, I feel like, because Kana had been doing quite well in that matchup as far as the CS had gone.
And you can see a pretty distinct tempo advantage in the jungle for Junja. Is up about 4 camps. The jungle item also significantly far ahead with like the +5 charges. Here's another look at how Kana got caught.
Yeah, and they had just done a KC yellow ping on the bottom side of the map where Junja was, but Junja right after that walked the entire way right up to red buff, and then red buff right over here as Kana showed going behind tower after that minion wave. So nicely done here from CFO, from Rest and Junja. They're gonna have to keep that up if they want to continue snowballing here. So are gonna get the next spawn as teleport does come out, and we're gonna have positioning ready.
Okay, so there's no teleports available for either one of the top laners. Everybody on CFO that's not Renekton is hanging out up here in this top side river. Set of Void Grubs. First one's gonna go ahead and drop. Death sentence over the wall, doesn't find anybody. Doggo continuing to poke with the volleys. As Yike ball breaks forward, immediately going after Doggo. Tons of burst down onto the CFO marksman, but it's not enough to kill him. Kaiwing's the next target as he's executed by Targamas. A beautiful fear coming out from Vladdy, and Honkyu's gonna make his escape. He flashes at the Bone Skewer, but he's got to keep running. A deadly flourish from a deadly range. Honkyu still just trying to get out of this one as Targamas jumps on top of him, and Vladdy picks up the money. KC, 2 for nothing on the kills.
Yike immunes the Ash Arrow with his Vi ultimate. So nicely done. Then gets out to the upper side, splitting up CFO, and Dako's position kind of compromised over there. What a nice little snap trap from KC as they move in on those grubs. They get the punish. Now, though, on the reset, looks like, all right, not going to go for it. Kaiwing has no one with him. So it doesn't really mean much that they had that control ward in position. And he's trying to throw the lantern, but the Scuttle Crab's already been taken.
Yeah, easy stuff there for KC as Rest versus Kana. He's going to break out into a full-on fight here. Rest trying to keep Kana around long enough for backup to arrive, but doesn't want to overcommit it. Death Sentence was predicting Kana to step back a little bit, but he just kept running straight on away. So another whiff there for Kaiwing as Doggo versus Kalist back over in mid lane. 80 carries again, just kind of on farm duty while everybody else is scrapping down here in the bottom side. Biggest gold lead in the game right now is for the Pyke. Let's take another look at how this started and what you said about Yike immuning that arrow.
Yeah, and also Doggo's positioning, like that brush is the most dangerous brush in all of these grubs fights. And Doggo is so close to it that Yike was close enough to proc his ultimate, immediately clicked it, immunes the arrow, gets out to the top side, and then KC do such a good job getting their re-engage with the Pyke, with the Jhin. They get the chase down as well.
KC up 1,000 gold now after this big swing, after grabbing those unanswered kills. And I critically think that they also got one of the grubs there too. Yeah, 2 grubs out of the 4, or 2 grubs out of the 6, excuse me. That's fine. Means your opponents don't get any credit toward the feats of, I don't even know what they're called. Feats
Warfare?
of objectives? No,
Warfare.
Wasn't feat of warfare specifically the killing one?
That's all I got for you, buddy.
All right, now the feats of grub fair. There's no grub on that one, so they're doing all right. But Junja throwing out another spear there as the second Drake of the game is alive. CFO had claimed the first one, but bottom side river control now belongs to KC. Junja can't really find a way to move forward as Targamas looks for the opportunity to go after Doggo. The curtain call is opened up. He's doing a good job sidestepping all of those shots. Gives him the thumbs up for it.
All right, so they avoid death currently on the bottom side, but KC going to use that timer to take away as much vision as they possibly can and force another face check here from CFO. Yike and Targa right now, a lot of threat behind these two with the ability to engage and solo out a single target.
Yeah,
they got to get out of there.
Yeah, that lantern, very, very useful for keeping these guys out of danger. That spear just barely missing Targamas as he uses the deep water dive to get out of the way. Yike starts up the dragon. Junja again just trying to throw out these spears, land some kind of poke. Hongq got to be careful. Dodges away from the bone skewer. Dragon still at about 2/3 HP. Junja can kind of just fight this thing forever because he's got the heals that he can spam. Targamas, Yike, and Vladdy gonna go ahead and secure the Scuttle Crab first. Doggo finally makes his way up to the fight. Both top laners ready to teleport in. It should be Kana that arrives slightly earlier, but Rest has also arrived. Now Junja's your target, immediately juggled around, but he turns right back on Yike, and he is down. The Hextech Drake stolen away by CFO. But what about the rest of the fight? Vladdy and Targamas stuck inside the pit. A beautiful bone skewer onto the pike, as now he's in danger too. Rest goes deep, trying to find the kill on the Kana. Oh, Targamas! Wombo combo just kills two! Everybody's about to die on CFO. And just when it looked like the light was shining in the darkness, KC snuffs it out.
Dude, and that Hui damage and the AoE on the grouping there, putting in work. Targamas able to cash in the pike with the biggest gold diff in the game. He gave him the first blood because he knew a game like this was coming. Gotta give him an early lead. Okay, so here's another look at it. Again, even beforehand, this Hui damage, this poke damage that he's getting done is real. Yike goes in, but Kana does not combo with him with the ultimate on Ambessa, and they actually just had the initial bone skewer. So then trapped inside the pit, CFO are like, all right, great. Let's move forward. We got the hook onto Pike, but he's able to dash away, stun them, and get the double ult reset. Kana's able to even flash over the outside. Hongq still chases him down and makes his escape, but it's still a large victory there for the KC members, racking up a bunch of extra gold.
Wow, 3,000 gold lead now for KC. CFO grabbing those dragons just doesn't feel meaningful enough as Hongq having to use the flash into the rocket jump just to try to get away as Yike waiting around the Otacon pit. Kaiwing, Rest, and Junja just trying to secure this Herald, get this bursted down before KC can try to collapse and punish yet again. Doggo finds Kalist, plenty of damage onto him there. The arrow, though, immediately nullified by the cleanse, but it doesn't matter. Doggo has enough damage. Vladdy flashing away to escape any more follow-up. First turret claimed down in the bottom lane. Nicely done there by Kana, utilizing the chaos on the other side of the map.
That was vicious from Doggo. Beautiful stuff. Runs straight into Kalist, forces his cleanse, immediately flashes to finish it as he goes for the blast cone there.
Oh, Hongq gets caught out by Targamas, the stun of the execution. This pike is ferocious.
That pike is European, Flowers. Hailing back to the G2 days where everyone played pike. That was clean. Targa here starting off, put on his own ankle weights, but since then he's taking them off, popping off with these ults. The symbiotic souls for himself, getting out there and everywhere. Okay, anyways, Doggo though, this was clean from him. Goes right up into Kalist's face, chases him down, forces the cleanse, and then as he goes for the blast cone, knows he can finish it and uses the lantern cleanly over the wall after he secures his kill. Nice up there from Doggo. And we got the immediate ulti after the rocket jump.
The looks of shock. You love to see it as Rest. We're back to live, and he's about to be laid to rest. He barely stays alive thanks to Kaiwing providing the shield. Now Junja jumps in the middle of everybody, and Yike is about to burn down to the Leandries. A little bit more damage is needed. One auto attack to the face gets it done. Vladdy's next to fall, and the shutdown goes over to Junja. That's 2 kills for the side of CFO. as KC thought they could get the kill on the top laner, and man, it was so close, but they just barely missed out.
Targa's in some dangerous waters right now. He stops the recalls though.
Doesn't look like the team is going to get anything else across the map in the meantime, but he is being very annoying.
Pyke is very good at that.
Yeah, it's one of the most annoying champions in the game to deal with when played well. Junja trying to go for the spear there, doesn't hit it. Targamas though! All right, he finally overplays his hand a little bit. The Nidalee with 4 kills and now 5 was ready for his antics.
That is a shutdown as well. Okay, so CFO, regardless of what happens, I love that they are trying so many more plays in this game. So everybody goes down here. They're not going to let Rest die without the rest of the squad coming to save him. Beautiful locket of the Iron Solari actually kept him alive, but we're back at it. Rest has no one to save him this time, Flowers.
Yeah, if you first don't succeed, try again. This time they get the Gator good, and it's Yike grabbing his 2nd kill of the game.
And blood all over the map, honestly, here. CFO, though, regardless, this time around, so many more plays for them. Staying even in kills despite the gold deficit for themselves. A lot of tower gold being taken by KC. Let's see if they can actually forge some sort of way over to this dragon. It looks like it's going to be dangerous, but like you have to kind of keep sending if you're CFO.
Yeah.
You have to use an Ash Arrow. You have to go for some stuff and try and snowball. Oh,
Nightwing does get hit by the Bone Skewer. Still should be decently safe for now. Never mind, I'm eating those words, and Kaiwing is eating a public execution. KC pick up another kill, and they're about to stop the dragon stacking of CFO. This is not gonna go the way that it did in game 1 where KC just piled them up. CFO having that tempo slowed down now as Targamas, beautiful hook onto Junja, but he has the stasis to punish Yike instead. Massive turnaround. Perfect timing, nicely done. Now Targamas has to try to get away too. I say it time and time again, Kobe. Stasis is the strongest active in League of Legends, and it is not close. That could have been such an amazing pick there for the side of KC, but it gets turned around with the nice Stasis usage.
and they go right over to the Otacon after that. I mean, Targamas is on the way up. He's worked some magic. They're going to teleport Kana here as well.
Okay, Otacon down to 4,000. Yike is still dead for 3 minutes. The Otacon should drop here. They're focus firing it pretty effectively, and there it goes. Ruinous Otacon is claimed, but they need to pick all the flowers too. Whenever it's this Otacon, the flowers are a huge part of the reward. Okay, CFO gets the Otacon. They get all the bonus flowers. They get everybody away. That gold lead that was, what, 3,000 or so earlier has shrunk back down to 1K now.
This is definitely the best game of the series. No contest, not even close. CFO, that was huge for them. A bunch of flower power here for later on into the game. The adaptive force will be necessary. Junja, the one with the big gold lead on their team. You mentioned, you know, power of stasis. We'll see what he can get done in some of these fights, if they can get some more, you know, picks across the board. But really, who has to carry the brunt of it is going to be the double 80 carries later on. Yep. Hongq here, Infinity Edge is completed alongside his Yuntal. So will the Tristana get some resets in the future? Definitely some explosive potential here on both sides. Whenever you have teams like this, a lot hinges on vision control and being the one to take the first step, the proactive team to make the pick, the one that's going to get the reset first.
So I like this comparison that we're seeing right now because Yike had the better early game. He was up in pretty much all measures at 14 minutes, but the damage done to enemy champions right now, Junja is doubling him. And obviously Nidalee should be doing more damage than Vi, but double is quite a statement. As the arrow shot out onto Vladdy, immediately Hongq wants to help out, guarantee the kill, they get it done. Now he's ready to go to Reset City. Population, Yike! Double kill over to Hongq, and CFO making plays.
Just as we say, Hongq's going to have to be the one to do the heavy lifting here. They feed him gold. That's going to be a hard push for them on top side too. Wait a second. They're gonna be able to get, I mean, honestly, mid tower and top tower are gonna be under pressure as we watch Rest dealing with what Mbessa turns into.
Yeah, Mbessa's a little bit monstrous at this point in the game, but CFO will happily take their 2 kills they got up here on the top side. They will happily translate that into a tier 2 turret take after, and they will happily go back up to a 1,500 gold lead. Let's watch the arrow from Doggo yet again as he lets it rip.
Love that the observers started back here because it showed the Scryer's bloom that allowed the arrow to hit. That was Junja getting the vision with the Scryer, then the arrow coming through all the way from mid lane from Doggo, and they're able to force the play through to feed more money into their Tristana. Honkyu now still level 15 and a half, but so much more gold in his pockets here to accelerate his 3-item power spike.
Both of our top laners are at 2 items plus boots. About 1,500 gold lead, though, for the Mbessa. This is only going to become more and more of a problem, like you mentioned earlier, as the clock marches forward. So we'll see how long until Rest just can't deal with that in the side lane anymore. Kaiwing stepping forward to throw down a ward, forces Targamas to use that stun backwards to make sure he doesn't get caught by the death sentence. Less than 60 seconds until the next Drake spawns. Critically for KC, because they managed to get the last one, this is not Soul Point. It's not a do or die type of Drake. They can give it away if they feel they need to.
Certainly can, but I've got a feeling we're going to get a brawl, buddy.
I feel like that's probably just the nature of this third game. We've got 24 kills in 25 minutes, Kobe. This is the type of League of Legends I like to watch.
Same, brother. All right, so we got a little bit of poke damage that was gone down there, but these Nidalee heals are also, a fairly substantial bonus of having your Nidalee this far ahead. There we go, Ash Arrow.
Nice arrow. Yike wanting to steal away the chickens. It's the jungler's cardinal sin. Just a little bit of extra money that you want, stealing away those resources. But the power of the Ashe to again make these punishes. CFO, with enemy jungler dead for the next 30 seconds, makes the call to go for the Baron. They've got it down to half, but the curtain call is opened up, and Rest has taken a little bit of a chunk of damage. Kaiwing wanted to go for some kind of a flash engage, but he's not going to get anything he wants. The Baron's been secured, and Rest is scrapping with Kana off to the side. Junja wants to go in to kill Kalist, but he doesn't have the damage to do it himself. Honkyu's on a killing spree, and Kana is down. Honkyu after Vladdy now, as Kalist tries to escape. Junja's killed him with the burn, and that's a rampage for the CFO jungler.
CFO aren't done yet, baby. That's a Baron. That's going to be the dragon for them as well. They want to push this series further.
And they are looking like they're in a damn good spot to do it. Up almost 5,000 gold. Now they're at Soul Point. Watch this arrow on Yike.
Yeah, watch Yike, who's level 13 in this clip. Junja is going to be able to level up to 16 by the time we're done with it after that Baron. All right, in the aftermath, though, of course, instant pick. Doggo deserves so much credit for these Ashe arrows that have been critical. As you said, Kaiwing was fishing for it as the Baron was going down. So it's a good timing for them still because they get the Baron and they can chase forward. They don't let Kana escape, while Junja by himself on the other side of the map was going 2v1 versus Kalist. He takes him down. Huge stuff for CFO. Junja, when they really need it here, hulking out on the Nidalee, level 16. Yike is now leveled up to 14, so it's still only the 2-level lead, but massive stuff.
This feels so much more like the CFO we've been watching for the past few days. It's what you were talking about at the end of last game, during the draft of this game, playing with proactive champions in a way that they can make their own decisions and be active early is just an entirely different look for this team, and it looks so damn good. Baroned up, pushing down mid. They'll knock out the tier 2 turret. KC hanging around with some vision inside these really close to the base wall brushes, trying to see if maybe CFO takes a greedy path, but it's not going to happen.
Certainly not. Just the 4-1 split push here from CFO. Baron empowered minions sieging up on the tower. Yike actually the one to go for a pick on Rest.
Yeah, they want to see if they can maybe get the isolated guy here. Arrow flies out from Doggo. Rest with the slice and the dice. Final shot from the curtain call ain't going to hit nothing. Junja jumps in again. This is the power of having the stasis. You just throw yourself in there, full yeet, and there's your delete. Honkyu on a rampage. Yike dead again, and CFO cracked the enemy base. They'll take out that tier 3 turret and the inhibitor right behind it. There's no breaks. The war machine keeps going. They've got the wave crashing into the Nexus turrets, and they're starting to put the damage into the first. Junja's going to take the turret aggro here at the very start. He's stunned up, destroyed before he can ever even use the stasis. Nice shutdown over to Vladdy, but it's not stopping the push as a whole, because CFO, they'll knock down another tier 3, they'll knock down another inhib, and now they'll fall back.
Yep. They can't end the game, but they do get those 2 inhibitors down. So you have to believe all that's left is resetting and getting to push up on top side to keep KC in their base. Here is the attempt, and this is a mirrored situation from what we talked about in the previous game, where if you're trapped inside your base, full send on the split pusher and try and get your pick, but they don't do it. And Junja's like, I have a Zhonya's, and I am mega fed on Nidalee, so I'm not gonna let you get away with attempting to kill my top laner. Jun just jumps in, Conqueror Nidalee, they take one down. Of course, then he does get hooked under the Nexus turrets.
Right, but we skipped that part.
Yeah,
they cut that part.
They cut the tape.
Yeah, replay ended. All good. Goal difference, powered by AWS, right there on your screen just shows how deep that red has become. And it's because CFO have seriously ballooned this gold lead after getting themselves those critical picks earlier with these Ash arrows from Doggo, who is now 3 items plus an extra BF sword, 4, 2, and 8 on the Ash. You can see almost a full completed 4th item for Hongq on the Tristana, up 3,000 gold over his counterpart, but really the biggest individual lead this game is Junja. The glow up from the first 2 games for him is there. This is the guy we were expecting, this is the guy we were wanting, and this is the guy that's ready to keep this series going.
So even though CFO have such priority right now, there's only a minute on the Dragon arriving. I feel like the Dragon Soul is so big, so don't take any big risks here. This is a critical moment. All right, they're not going to go for anything risky, not going to go for any sort of end. They just wanted to keep KC inside the base. What they need to do is ward up everything leading to the Dragon so that they can make use of Doggo's insane Ash arrows, but...
Yike, jumping in there, going for a crazy engage. He thought maybe he and Kana could get the pick on a Hongq, catch him unawares, but it ain't gonna work. Kana's dead now too. All right, Kobe, maybe they don't need the Dragon Soul. Maybe they don't need the Dragon Soul. With that being the state of things, KC thinking, okay, if we give away this soul, there's just no way. Hongq right in the face of Kalist, the 2 youngest players in the tournament, and Hongq comes out on top. The heal enough to keep him alive despite the severing bolt. Vladdy going for another one, but it won't matter. There's only 1 left alive on KC, and Rest is on the hunt. The volley flies out, the stasis to buy a little bit of time. 1 more play to bring him back. The fleeing Doggo will not matter, because Hongq can get it done. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to game 4.
Hongq, the 17-year-old mid-lane prodigy at the end, and CFO overall showing some confidence on stage, looking like what we have come to expect from them at this tournament. They did drop 2 very big games at the beginning of this series, so every game is a must-win for them, but that was a much better look. They drafted so much more proactive, just what we're looking for, and they were able to execute in game.
It's exactly what we wanted to hear, and hey, have you heard? You can subscribe to LOL Esports on Twitch now to support your favorite teams. Use custom emotes and go ad-free on Twitch. Regular subscribers are also rewarded with the